Well, hi,
Hello.
hello.
You'll get it after you hear the presentation.
You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll get it. Well, hi everyone. Hope you are happy, healthy, and doing well. Bit of a shout out to some of our subs, but I'm going to do that as we do the presentation, because what we've got this week is going to, well, I think it's going to blow a few minds. Let's put it that way. So
Or,
we're not.
it's a little bit more impactful than some of the previous presentations, right?
Yeah. One of our subs sent me an email. I'm sorry, I forget. It might have been Rachel, asking should we do a podcast on synchronicity. Yeah. And I think that once you watch this one, you're going to understand a little bit more about what synchronicity actually is and how it works. So I'm going to get straight on to the presentation. Not going to waste any time. Because I've got a lot of slides in this one, guys. So just let me clear that from the screen. Get rid of that, and up we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. We saw the sign. All right, we're going to start. Harry, I'm going to throw this on you, but we're quite familiar with famous quotes. Have you got any idea who coined this? Somewhere between the morals and the roots of ignorance, light shines through the darkness.
I've never heard that quote before, so no, I don't know.
No, do you like it?
I like it.
You won't know who it is because it was me.
Well, but I know you. But
Yeah,
I know who you are.
yeah, I know it was me. It's in one of my books. It's in one of my books. Yeah, somewhere between the morals and the roots of ignorance, light shines through the darkness. That just came to me in a download. All right. Now I want to shout out to Anthony. Anthony's in our Telegram group, and he posted this yesterday, and it wasn't directed at Harry or I. It was directed at a guy called Seth, one of our other members in the Telegram group. He said, Nigel and Harry are, in my opinion, cutting edge, without an agenda other than shining light upon the hidden in plain sight. What I love about these guys is they are you and me, with a love and freedom in their hearts, and they, with a quiet excitement, reveal truth of a system that belies itself. I thought that was absolutely awesome. Lovely. And he's not blowing smoke up our asses, guys, because it wasn't directed at me or Harry. It was directed at another member of the group. So thank you, my friend. That's really appreciated.
Yeah, that was above and beyond the call of duty.
Absolutely. Now, on our last podcast, Just an Illusion, Sally D. Look at this, guys. Now, I've got no idea how old Sally D is, right? And it doesn't matter. But look, you can pause it and read it. Oh my God, a few things came to mind. One, the Nephilim or nymphs and the World's Fairs. Now, she says, in Toronto, we had the Canadian National Exhibition, also known as WON, or CNE, that started mid-August and ended Labor Day weekend, and the Jerry Lee Lewis Telethon. As school children, we were given our final report cards, and enclosed were tickets for the family to attend the exhibition. Now, if Sally is 90 years old right now, and she was 15 when she went to this World's Fair exhibition, that's only 75 years ago. So everything that we've been taught is nowhere near as old. And a shout out to Anne Pearson. Anne's one of our longest serving subscribers, because she actually replied to Sally's post here, and said that she went to one as well. Now, again, I don't know how old Anne is, but 50s, 60s, maybe. So this stuff is nowhere near as old as we think. All right, and then we see these crazy memes pop up every now and again. This one made me laugh. Are they taking the mickey? Well, this time no, because my friend Jim used to work in in Korea, and he said no, it doesn't say that at all. But so you got to be a bit careful with some of these memes that are going around, guys.
Well, you've seen people who get tattoos,
Yeah.
and they don't know what it means,
Mm.
and then some native speaker will come up to them and say, "Oh, you fool, you just called yourself an ass."
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Robin for sending us this. I mean, we taught this at school: condensation, precipitation, rain, collection, and evaporation, only possible in a closed system.
Yeah, I mean, they tell us this the theory of thermodynamics, right?
Yeah,
The law of thermodynamics,
yeah,
but then they tell us that we live with space out there. I mean,
yeah.
how can a vacuous area hold in all that atmosphere? It's no possible
Well,
way.
absolutely. But we take it for granted because we taught it at these indoctrination centers.
Mhm.
This one I thought was quite interesting, also from Robin. The quartz crystal is neither a solid nor a liquid. It vibrates at 786,000 pulses per millisecond. Its continuum moves faster than light. Its vibration is the axis of the universe. Very, very interesting. But anyway, all right, let's have a look. There's a couple of things that I also want to mention. If you can't see the blindingly obvious in this, guys, then there's something wrong. And of course, this,
Yeah.
which is connected to all the other things that we see. Now, just to slightly digress for a minute, not sure how many of you guys are old enough to remember these phones. But if you look at the dial pad, Harry, and how close the one is to the stop, right?
Yes.
Now, in New Zealand, the emergency phone number was 111, right? 111, very, very quick. But while growing up in the UK, I could never understand why it was 999. Because when you dial a 9, it's going to take 2 or 3 seconds to come back, and then you've got to do it again. So in a state of emergency, instead of having 111, which would be done in 3 seconds, 999 or 000, as it is in Australia, could take up to 9 or 10 seconds.
Mhm.
Interesting. USA is 911. Here in China, we have 119 for fire and 110 for the police. But the UK was 999, and I could never understand that growing up, which is an inverted 666. Australia is 000. Well, O is the 15th letter of the alphabet. So also an encoded 666, which I just wanted to throw in, when we're looking at these kind of things. The very best of luck to both finalists in the WEF Hide and Seek Championship. May the best man win. I thought that was quite funny.
That is funny.
Yeah. Okay. Now, there are certain words that we're not going to say for obvious reasons. So if you've been following our channel, following our podcast, you'll know that these people are what are known in our world are known as the Yehudans. The name came originally, or we got the name from John Lamb Lash, and basically referring to the Genesis 1:27 biblical creation. Okay, so these are the Yehudans. Okay, and I thought this was pure class. You're gonna look. Somebody in the last podcast said, "Look, it's difficult to watch some of this when I'm driving because you're not reading everything." Well, I can't. You know what I mean? You're just gonna have to live with it. You got to you got to pause and have a look at this some of these.
Yeah, we're not quantum of conscious here, where
Yeah,
he just
absolutely.
talks and doesn't show you much, but
Yeah, absolutely. I thought this was classic. I mean, therapist on its on its own breaks down to those two words. Yeah, psychotherapist is one word, Omar. Okay, all right. Now, before we get into the main meat and potatoes, I want to give a shout out to Adam from The Illusion. Guys, this is a few videos back from January the 29th. It's called "This Video Will Send Chills Down Your Spine." This is not clickbait. this Adam's not been doing this kind of work as long as say Logan from Decode Your Reality has, but this one, if you got any doubts whatsoever that we do not live in a scripted simulation, then this will change your mind. It's only about 16 minutes long. Absolute mind blow. Now we're trying to hook up with Adam. Adam's in Mexico, the same as Logan. We're trying to hook up, but we keep missing comments when it comes to email. So Adam, if you're watching this, that is my email address. Okay, it's also going to be in the show notes, so don't be a slack ass, bro. Come on, let's hook up. Okay, and of course the other guys that you really should be subscribed to is Logan at Decode Your Reality. If you haven't seen his podcast called How to Decode Yourself, it's an absolute game changer and it's an absolute must. It's also nice to know that he had a call in with Zach, and these guys, they're actually finally going to be getting together and doing some podcasts together, which is really good. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool, because I know
Yeah.
that he did decode the Gematria effect, and you know, he gave him compliments. You know, he didn't bash him at all.
Yep.
And it's good to see that they're going to work together.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all the housekeeping out of the way, guys. Right, let's get into it. Yes, we are going into our little Twilight Zone. So remember this guy, or do you know who this guy is? This is going to blow you away. Yeah, this is the CEO of he wins the Genesis Prize. Now, you can't make this up. Now, I've been putting this podcast together for the last 2 or 3 days, or this slideshow together for the last 2 or 3 days. And then something popped up this morning on BitChute. Look at this. Look at this. Genetic changes, creating a new human species. Genesis Prize. I mean, what are we living in, guys? You cannot make this up. Well,
they're telling us. They're calling it the Genesis Prize.
Yeah.
He is making something new.
Yeah.
Again, they're different from us. The Yehudan, Albert Bourla. If he kept the S in the end of his name, you could recognize the guy's a Greek Yehudan.
Yeah. Yeah. Without
but
doubt.
The bottom line is he's hiding his identity.
Yep.
And he's creating something out of thin air.
Yep.
When we have this modification made in our genome.
Yeah. Now, you know, I say you can't make this up. We don't have to make it up because they clearly are. Okay. Now, when it comes to synchronicity, you've all heard me talk about, or me and Harry talk about this, the guy with the unpronounceable name, God Lance, the Crater Earth guy. I'm going to leave a link to this video. This is, again, it's only about 15, 16 minutes, and this is going to blow your mind. It's got nothing to do with Crater Earth. And I pulled some of his, some screenshots from that video. You know, why was the GLOBE invented? We're beginning to think now that it was to hide more land. But essentially on this one, he talks about the Yehudans of the 10 lost tribes are shut up in the hills. They're called Gog and Magog. They can get out on no side. King Alexander intended to shut them up with the work of his men. And isn't it interesting when you look at the middle, especially the middle depiction here, when compared to, you know, why would a car manufacturer use that as its logo? It's mind-blowing. And he also talks about 2 tribes of Judah and Benjamin. And I did check again, Harry. He did say they were not locked up, the 2 tribes of Judah and Benjamin. But if you've been following our recent podcast, guys, you know, we've got the BJ again. Judah and Benjamin, Jachin and Boaz, the BJ.
And it's always a reference to sexual references, you know, the BJ. And that Crater Earth video, his last video, like you said, 17 minutes. It's jam packed
Oh, guys,
with information.
mate,
I watched that thing 3 times.
me too.
And
Me
you
too.
know, the more you watch it, the more you're going to glean from it. But the bottom line is he nails several points.
Yeah.
And it's yeah.
What I'll do in this one, guys, I'll put the link in the pinned comments. So once the video's uploaded, I'll go back and I'll put the link to that in the pinned comments. So the most popular phone in China is the Huawei, which sounds a little bit like Yahweh. And you know, again, you've got the Monarch. Well, just a little bit of a shift. Same with this dude. This dude. Now, what was he famous for, Harry? Mr. Marconi. There
Yes,
we go.
sir.
Yep. And this we're coming up with this. I'm not going to say it. You can see what it is. But what is the importance of this? Well, we're going to show you. According to Tesla, whether he was real or not doesn't really matter. People get bogged down with this kind of stuff. Did Confucius exist? Buddha, Jesus? Doesn't matter. It's the words that are attributed to these guys that are more important than whether or not they existed. Think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Well, what does energy, frequency, and vibration encompass? Waves. Waves. Remember this, 0 point in the middle. Now, that reminded me of this. Now, this is what woke me up back in a few years ago. Was the split in the Volkswagen logo? There was never a split there in my reality. But have they split? Have they split the way? And this is a question that I'd like you guys to ponder on and let me know what you think. But we've got a bit of a ways to go yet. So,
remember, well, let me just interject on the next slide where you have the or the previous slide where you have the wave with the 0, the 1 2, the 1 2 4 8 and the 0 down there. Well, to me, if I adopt these Yehudans way of looking at this picture, this is a woman's legs going up and the 0 represents the portal.
Yeah. And of course, what's missing from this, Harry, is the 3, 6, and 9.
Right.
9, 3, and 6. And that, again, that's what this guy spoke about. If you understand 3, 6, and 9, you'll have the keys to, you'll understand the keys to the universe. So you've got the 3, the 6, and the 9. No, sorry, the 9, the 3, and the 6 that are basically missing. But I think there's a connection with the disconnection of the V and the W, but I've not been able to put my finger on it just yet. So back to our crater Earth guy, the Phi or Far. And we've talked at length, Harry, about the meta, about the 8. This is, you know, we're coming in, we're spending our time, and then we're leaving if we want to.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
now, if you remember the video we did on the phi, the plant,
Yep.
The phi is based on the word phyto, which in Greek means to plant.
Yep.
And when something is planted, it grows, and it grows in this doubling effect, just like cells. You know, 1 to 2 to 4 to 8.
Yeah. Well, that's essentially what you got here. You know, you got one cell doubling into 2, right? Arguably.
Yeah.
So here's the 3, 6, and 9. Your 3, 6, and your 9, and you've got your Ra, your 0 point in the middle, and it forms this very, very familiar shape of the 2 pyramids, one inverted.
It's like the Star of David, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So
No wonder.
you've got the Phi or the Far wave. Isn't it interesting that the word wave has got a W and a V in it? We'll come to that in a minute. So that's what it is, basically. Ra, Dio or Dios in Greek is God. Ra is God. Ra, Dio, wave. Are you seeing it yet? Why are all these scariants called waves? Think about it. No coincidence. That is what is causing the problems. I've just watched an hour's show on BitChute with Sean from SGT Report, and he's interviewing a couple of guys in Morocco that have basically broken it down, and they have basically said that the V word, is this, and they even matched it all up with the previous ones, Harry. You know, things like Ebola and bird flu and all that, to upgrades in there. Absolutely incredible.
Well, we even saw one video on BitChute where the youngster he decides to look at the correlation between high population areas
Yeah,
have many towers
yeah,
and high population areas that have no towers.
yeah,
And
yeah. I'll
then
try
and
and
he's
find
able,
that.
yeah, he's able to prove, I have it. He's able to prove that areas, let's say like China with 1.3 billion people in population.
So they say.
Okay, so they have a lot of cell towers there, not nearly as many as New York and California,
Mm,
but you have a great number of populace there.
yeah,
And then you go down a little bit south to India, same population, approximately about 1.3 billion,
yeah,
no cell towers.
yeah. And I
And
think Mexico was the highlight, because there's nothing, you
right.
know.
So the correlation he makes is that the
Mm,
the five and
yeah,
the G
yeah.
is
The V,
what's getting people to
the V.
catch the flu and want to detox.
Yep. So Greek alphabet, 24 letters. Each one represents a wave. Now Harry is native Greek, so it's going to be all too familiar to him.
I always
Each.
wondered why the English language had 26,
Mm,
whereas the Greek alphabet had 24, and we had just as many sounds as everywhere else.
well,
But
if
the bottom line though is they're taking and they're bastardizing the natural flow of 12 that we see everywhere
yeah,
and doubling it,
yeah,
and then they made it 13 doubled. So
yeah. Well, if you include lowercase and uppercase, there's 52
mhm.
letters, same as the 52 weeks in a year. 5 and 2 is 7. We'll come on to
Yeah.
that in a minute. So yeah, waves. Now this is interesting. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other. Look at the passage, guys. 11/7. What's the 7th month of the year? Technically, is September. Septus means 7. So we have a clear reference there to 7/11. I'm not going to read all
So,
this, guys.
and you know who started the chains of those small markets called the 24-hour market,
Yeah,
7-Eleven.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So guys, you can pause it, or you can take a screenshot and read this, but basically it's the same thing. So these are the words on the left: lambda, hyper, gamma, gamma, beta, alpha, theta, delta, epsilon. They're all names of letters from the Greek alphabet: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, etc. Okay, they're the names, and they all relate to waves. Waves. Okay, the electromagnetic spectrum. Well, what's interesting about this, we've already spoke about radio, micro or Ra, infra, Ra, ultra, Ra, X, Ra, gamma, Ra. And then, of course, we have radar. Why is RA in all of these words when it comes to the spectrum and the waves? Well, we're going to show you, and it's going to blow your fucking mind. Sorry for the language, but it really is that crazy. Okay, in the Genesis 1 creation story, if you haven't watched our copy and paste, it's the most viewed podcast on this channel, and it will blow you away. This realm was partly destroyed after the copy and paste. The story in the what we know as the creation story in Genesis 1 is a recreation, or Ra's creation. And then, of course, you have the Ra, or rapture, the Ra again. And Harry, it was you that came up with this, the rapture, Ra, Peter. Peter, why is Peter's a very, very common name in the Bible, but we also use it to peter out, to gradually become smaller, weaker, or less before stopping or ending, like giving up smoking. Their romantic relationship petered out after the summer. Just an interesting connection, I thought there.
They want to use the word Peter a lot because of the connotation of Peter is that of a stone, Petra. Petra is something
Yeah,
that's very, very strong and firm, and
yeah.
it's like a foundation stone. So
As in petrified.
yes.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Electra, and isn't it funny, Harry, that the word elect here before Ra, and there's something in the Bible you'll remember that even the whole world shall be deceived, even the very elect.
Yeah.
Elect Ra, lumen Ra, lumen light. Oh look, I mean it's not right hidden in plain sight, is it? Microwave, right in the middle of the word.
Well, even if you take the previous slide, this one, and you say Electra, you're telling people that the sun, Ra, is electric.
Yeah, yeah,
And
the electric sun.
the science wants to tell you that the sun is a ball of gas
Yeah,
93 million miles away.
yeah.
Whereas in reality, it's very close. We've come to the conclusion it's about 3,000 or so miles away.
If that,
And
yeah.
and in reality, it's just feeding off of the electricity, kind of like those globes that you go to these little trinket stores and you plug them in, and then they shoot the electricity from the middle out to the outside of the glass.
Yeah, what are those things that it's like a little sphere and you put your hand up to it and it
Yeah,
sparks
they
fly.
move like the lightning bolts kind of move around.
Yeah,
So that's what the sun is. The sun is
yeah,
just an electric uh, device. That's all it is.
yeah. It's a giver and a receiver. It
Mhm.
sucks our energy and gives it back to us.
Oh
So
yeah.
again, with the Yehudans, the duality, the as above, so below, you've got the female, male.
And that was funny that you said that right there. It's a sucker and a deliverer,
Yeah, yeah,
because the sun and the moon are both hermaphroditic
yep.
at different parts of the year. So that one time one is the giver,
Hmm.
and one time one is the receiver. And I don't want to get too graphic, but you can put two and two together.
Absolutely. So again, this it all represents the soul and the ego. Now, if you put the word soul into Chaldean gematria, I use Chaldean because it's the oldest. It works on phonetics, phonics. It's 19. Okay. Spirit is 19. Battery is 19. And master is 19. Okay. Ego is 15. Now, if we put I'll come back to that. So the sun is the 19th tarot card. Okay. Battery, spirit, soul, 19, 19, 19. Okay. I radiate my true self with confidence and attract only positive people and circumstances. 15 is the devil's card. Now we've done a whole podcast on this, with this thing here looking like a computer, like a
Uh-huh.
PC, and you know the chains around the neck that could easily be removed.
Taken off. Yeah.
Yeah. But when you put them together, obviously 19 plus 15 comes to 34, which further reduces to 7. And it's very, very important. We talked about this. You have a 7 on the palm of your right hand. You probably never even noticed it unless you watch one of our videos. And you have 5 fingers. Well, what's the 7th letter of the alphabet? Where are we seeing 57, Harry? Oh,
Heinz.
Heinz. Yeah. And what's the importance of that? Well, go back to this passage 11:7. Okay, and if you put beans means Heinz, what do we get? 11 and 7. I'm sure that's just a coincidence, guys. There's nothing
Oh,
to see here.
of course.
Well, the seventh letter of the alphabet, of course, is G. 5 fingers and a 7. What are they telling us? Okay. All right, and of course, there's the that same symbol again, which everybody is familiar with. The male and the female, the wave. Father, Theta, water, and wind. Really? A practical guide to ascension. What's ascension? Well, I think nature shows us what ascension is. I really do, because it's right there in front of our noses. And then, of course, frequency, music. We talked about that with the orphan trains and how the organs in these old buildings that we now call cathedrals were not there to sing hymns to some god. They were there for healing purposes. And of course, isn't it interesting, Harry, that the God of the Bible loves his meat. Meta is an anagram of meat. It's also an anagram of team. Nothing to see here. And of course, the biblical apple, which Creator Guide talks about in Snow White. And of course, there are 7 dwarves, 7 seals of revelation, 7 chakras. Okay, with respect, I know many of you ladies out there hate numbers. It's also by design. Look at the word number, her. So bear with us on this, girls. Right, we talked about the string of pi, Harry. In the string of pi, the number 19 appears at the 37th decimal place. 37 appears at the 46th decimal place, and 46 appears at the 19th decimal place. So it gives you 19, 37, 46, constantly looping.
Can you say recycle symbol?
Yeah. Of course, 19, 37, 46, each of those numbers adds up to 10 or reduces to 1. So you've got your 1, 1, 1. Well, what's important about that? Known in numerology as the master builder, the number 22 channels cosmic wisdom down to earth, uses it to turn incredible dreams into reality. What does 22 mean in numerology? The master number 22 brings together the spiritual and the material. The spiritual and the material. 22 over 7. What is the significance of the 7? Well, it's the material. It's this earthly realm. 7 days in a week, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 planets. Yeah, right. 7 notes on a musical scale. Do, re, mi. 7 seas, 7 continents, 7 on your hand, 7 dwarfs, 007. The list just goes on and on.
In that musical scale, you had the Ra again.
Yeah, and the Fa. Do, re, mi, fa. Yeah.
And so then we did a podcast about what the giant says when he can smell the blood of the Englishmen.
Fee, fi, right? Fum.
Yeah, fee, fi.
Yeah. So we know that the accepted number of pi, we just say 3.142, but they reckon there's like 2 million digits past the point. But again, 3.142, add them up, we get 10. 10 includes the binary code of 1s and 0s. So hold that thought for a minute. 0 is the midpoint of 19, 37, 46. Okay. 37 is the middle, the center, the midpoint, which got split. The midpoint has been split, and I don't know why. I haven't figured it out yet. Should I stay or should I go? Do you remember that song, Harry, from The Clash?
Oh, yeah. It was a great song, yeah.
There's your midpoint. Your midpoint, your 0. Should I stay and have another little
Go,
merry-go-round, or should
another
I
go
go?
around. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
yeah. Should I stay or should I go? Okay, now this is interesting. We use the 37. If you take the numbers 111, divide by 37, you get 3, which is 1 plus 1 plus 1. So naturally, that will follow all the way through to 9. 9 divided by 37 is 27. 9 plus 9 plus 9 is 27. 37 is the middle number, the important number. 19 is the 8th prime number. If you're not sure what a prime number is only divisible by itself or the number 1. 19 has no divisors. It's the 8th prime. Pi 3.142 is the code that runs this whole simulation. It's you can liken it to the Windows 10 or whatever system runs your computer. Then we have phi, which is the code of nature. 1.61, which is adds up to 8, also known as the Fibonacci sequence, the code of nature. And then you have Sol. We know solar. Sol is the sun. No, Sol is also the speed of light, which is the operating speed of the simulation. So just to recap very quickly, pi is the binary code. Pi is the computer simulation code. Okay. Fibonacci is the code of nature embedded. And the speed of light connects to the sun and is the speed, the operating speed of the simulation. Why have I put sim in capitals? Well, we have a SIM card in our phones, don't we? Mm-hmm. 37 is the 12th prime number. There are 12 openings, arguably, in the human body, especially with ladies. I'm not sure about us guys, talking about breasts. 12 months of the year, 12 official constellations. We know there are 13, and 12 notes in a full musical scale, including sharps and flats or black notes on a piano. 37 is the 12th prime. Now, the moon is the 18th card. And if you add the sun, 19, and the 18 together, you get 37. It's exactly what Harry was just talking about them both being binary or aphroditic or hermaphroditic or whatever you want. But they are what controls the realm. The sun and the moon together are what controls the realm. Now, who are we told is the God of this realm? Yahweh. Okay. And we're supposed to fear Yahweh. Let's move the letters around in the word wave. What do we get? We get EA, which would also be pronounced as Yah. Yah. And what is V and W? They are waves. It's not Yahweh, guys. It's Yah wave. Everything is about waves, which is why we were waving at the beginning of this podcast. Yah wave. How'd you like them apples? Does this look like a wave to you? The serpent is a huge, huge part of the Bible, is a serpent. But the serpent is a wave. What are the guys doing, Harry? Those 4 guys, what are they doing on the serpent's back?
They're riding the wave.
They're riding the wave. I mean, how much more obvious could it be, guys? The serpent is the wave, which is why I titled this podcast, We Saw the Sine. How about that? How about that? Absolutely mind-blowing. Yahweh, Yah's wave, Yah, Ra, same thing. Just Yah, Ra, 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 Ra. What do cheerleaders at these silly scripted football games sing? Ra, 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 Ra. It's all connected. It's all connected to the wave. What do you think, my friend?
Well, we know that, I told you that I was writing a book called Lies, and you said, no, 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 no. It's all deception.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a lie that sounds pretty true to fool you. And the whole time they've been telling us Yahweh, Yahweh, rah, rah, rah. But instead, it's like you said, it's Yahweh.
Yeah.
And so they're going to ride this wave, and they're going to try to impose this new wave on us. And we're going to, I mean, we've already decoded it, that the more of these waves that pass through our body, the more likely that our body is going to try to detox whatever is going in there, like bad food, bad water, and all that. And it's going to force our bodies to want to get rid of it, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be some kind of reaction. And
well, they actually admit that like a radiation sickness is very, very similar to flu-like symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people,
that's there in the mainstream.
Well, look, we know that certain countries are flipping on their system at different rates. And, some of these populations, like in New York, there's like, from what I understand, there's like 1,200 of these. California, there's about 350. That's number 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all the other countries combined, I don't think have 500.
No.
But when you put those towers in a highly populated area, you're getting to see a lot of these illnesses that are putting people in hospitals. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a wave, and you can't convince me any different than that.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we've been going on long enough. It's Sunday, 3:30 p.m. on the 6th here. And where you are, Harry, it's Saturday, the 5th at 11:30
p.m. Yes.
So yeah, it was 16 hours time difference. Who said there's no such thing as time travel? All right, guys, look, we'll leave it there. Thanks for bearing with us. I'll put all the links below. I'll put the link to the Crater Earth in the pinned comments. And as always, we value your comments, anything that you want to throw at us. Our email addresses are there as well. So if you want to throw something else that you don't want to put in the comments, then please feel free to flick us an email. So
one more thing I want to add before we sign off. The stuff that we talk about, my objective has always been to motivate people to act. A lot of people tell you, oh, you guys are so smart. Okay, so wisdom, right? What's better than wisdom, though? There's wisdom and there's an action.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how smart someone is. If they don't utilize that in intelligence, they're not wise.
Well, you've got that stupid bastardized cliche, knowledge is power. No, knowledge is useless if you don't use it. Knowledge is only potential power. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the other one that they play around with. The truth shall set you free. No, you shall know the truth, and then the truth shall set you free.
Well, and that analogy that you said about the potential power versus the real power. Potential power is represented in like a loaded gun, right? There's potential power there.
Yeah.
And what do they love to do is to brandish their weapons, and they intimidate and they cause fear.
Yeah, look at me, look at me, look at me,
look
how
at me,
powerful I am. Yeah, look how powerful.
But in reality, it's when you utilize that potential power is when you have real power. And so when we teach these things, I'm not a teacher, but we're just expressing our opinions and what we see and throwing it out there to see if maybe you see the same thing. I'm hoping that we can motivate you out there to actually go and say no. Just like I talked about in my bank situation. They told me I had to wear a mask to go in the bank. I said, no, I will not. 5 minutes later, I'm in the bank.
What would have
Because
what would have happened a few years ago if you'd walked in with a mask on?
they would have thrown me out and called the cops. So
Precisely.
it's about taking action and doing something. My next step, and I think I've mentioned this, is I am going to file paperwork with the school board because my children go to a public school and they wear a mask in the classroom.
Wrong.
I'm going to file paperwork so I can get them to be at least the only ones in their schools to not have a mask on. And if someone else wants to follow, I'll definitely give them the paperwork.
Good
But
idea.
these are the motions that we have to do to stand up and get these people to sit down.
I think there's we should invent some other cliche that goes something like, once you understand that life is an illusion, what makes you think death isn't an illusion as well?
Sure. And one of the things you said earlier in the podcast, we in this level of understanding, I believe we are in a different realm than those people who aren't understanding.
Oh yeah.
Because you can talk to them until your face turns blue.
Yeah.
And they will never understand you. It's almost like we're in two different worlds.
I think we are. It's the closest you're going to see to what they would call a parallel universe. You see us and them, whatever label you want to put on them, the ones that just will not listen, no matter how hard you try. And I forget who it was that said, you can't tell people, you have to show them. Well, I don't know about you, Harry, but I'm finding that to be difficult as well. Even when you show people, they still don't want to know, or they still don't get it, or you're just some crazy tinfoil hat dude.
Well, we've seen it. Like now, they've created digital people.
Yeah.
And they tell you that this lady on this picture is the mother of those dead children from the school shooting.
Yeah.
When there was no shooting, but this lady claims that she was the mom, and they're not real.
No.
So you can't even show people. You can't even show people.
You can't. All right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks again. Much love, and we will see. Hopefully, we've got one coming up with Anne Marie, don't we?
Anne Marie, we should be with her on Monday night.
That'll be my Tuesday.
She'll be on the Devil's Playground. No, we'll be on her channel. Okay. But we'll also broadcast it too.
Yeah. Well, I'll once she's done it, I'll download it and then I'll upload it onto this channel as well. So that's going to be interesting. I've got a lot of time for Anne Marie. I think she's great.
I think she's very, very talented and knows exactly. She's dialed in very, very, just like we are. We know what we're talking about. She knows what she's, and we came from completely different directions to get to the same place.
Yeah. I mean, I think from memory, Anne Marie, she said a few times that she hasn't watched TV for like 30 years. And not a lot of people can say that. I mean, I haven't watched TV for about 10 years. But not a lot of people her age. I mean, she's only got to be in her, I don't know, 40s.
Late 40s. Late 40s.
To say that she's not watched TV for 30 years is, and yet she's still come to the same place, if you like, that you and I and many, many others out there. Adam, I mean, another big shout out to Adam at The Illusion, and I really hope we can get him on and get together with him. Logan, another one, Santos, all these great people, they've all come to the same conclusion, and yet they all come from different backgrounds. It's amazing. Right. The other thing is, guys, we've just hit 100 members, Harry, in our Telegram group. So if you want to join that, we have quite a bit of fun in there, and anything goes. So again, the link will be below. What people don't understand, just scroll below the picture, and you'll see Show More. Click on Show More, and the whole thing just drops down, and all the links and all the things that you need are there. I can't see it because they're scrolling down and it's nothing there. Well, hit Show More, and the whole thing drops down. All right, guys, we'll let you go. Thank you once again. Much love, and we will see you very, very soon.
All right, take care.
Bye.